Devil May Cry 5 is a lot different from its predecessors. Unlike in Devil May Cry 1, 2, 3, and 4, where the cities and towns are a lot more of an afterthought or just don't exist at all in the case of Devil May Cry 1, Devil May Cry 5 likes to take a lot of attention on Redgrave City, mainly due to its story significance in both Devil May Cry 5 in general and the lore to the series, as it's where Dante and Virgil grew up and it's where Dante got his start demon hunting. During the development cycle of Devil May Cry 5, Hideki Itsuno and Matt Walker, among others, decided to go into London. Mainly, there have been shots elsewhere, but most of the big shots and places they're inspired by are usually London. One specific interview I looked at contained a lot of information about where they went in London and, more importantly, what they did. So, I decided to take that information and turn it into a video for those who are just lazy enough to not read. I don't blame you guys, I really don't. So, how about we sit back and listen to Nero's advice and make sure.
You taking notes?
After the prologue showcasing the Demon King Urizen basically going to town on Dante and Nero.
Now go! You're just dead weight! Okay.
Mission 1 starts off with a Nero with renewed vigor and a new arm, going across a bridge to fight a group of demons that have started to amass in Redgrave City and defending the people. There's even a trophy for it called Protect the People. Behind me stands Tower Bridge, one of the first bridges constructed for getting across the Thames in London. This area is also significant in the context of Devil May Cry 5. It's the first place in Redgrave City that we actually play as, and it's what starts off the entire game for us. In fact, you can see Nero right here, just standing, ready to face the bridge and the demons within. Meanwhile, I just have a bunch of tourists behind me. Yes, that is right. Tower Bridge itself is the inspiration for the specific bridge in Devil May Cry 5. And now, while yes, there are a lot of bridges in London, there's London Bridge, Tower Bridge, Westminster Bridge, Bridge. I made the last one up, but you couldn't blame me. The specific architecture of the bridge in Devil May Cry 5 matches up the most with Tower Bridge specifically, and also it's probably the coolest looking bridge, so I don't blame them using it. However, ours is not destroyed.
Who brought the marshmallows? 'Cause I'm bringing the fire.
After defeating the Clyfoth brutes and freeing the bridge, Nero and Nico decide to take the van deeper into Redgrave City, and taking us to our next segment.
That's it. No more wheels from here.
Taking us as far as the van possibly can at the moment, Nico decides to drop us off and let us continue the rest of the way on foot. This takes us to mission 2 and our first arena fight of said mission. Here we are in Piccadilly Circus. This serves as the basis for the first arena fight in mission 2. It's really the first bit we get to see Redgrave all broken up, and here you can see what it probably looks like in a good state. As you can see, the screen behind me as it appears in Devil May Cry 5, except isn't broken. It's in a good condition, and instead of demons roaming the place, it's just humans. Well, not a circus in a traditional sense, being more circus as in circle. Piccadilly Circus is a very big junction in the city of London, and usually has a lot of buses coming in and out of it. You can see this in DMC5 as well, with the buses, which are also very similar to the TFL buses that are usually all around London, being broken up in certain parts of the area. This mission is also really important because this is where we get our first telephone box. Now, as all DMC5 fans should know, the telephone box is a very big part of the game, as it's where we call Nico in order to get pickups, refills, devil breakers, all the good stuff. And these boxes are just basically the telephone boxes that are all around London, to the red colouring, to the paying to use. And I had the luxury of going inside, well, not luxury, the fortune of going inside one. Just remembers Nico isn't real.
Got it! The roads were all clogged.
Mission 3 starts off right where we left off in Mission 2. Nero, Nico, and V, who steals our kill like the absolute V he is, decide to go further into Redgrave City to get a bit closer to the Clyfoth. Now, this mission, compared to our last two, doesn't really have a direct inspiration. It's just a level primarily in the sewers and the Artemis fight.
What? No chit-chat or monologue? Just getting right to the point, huh?
But there is something really strange. At the start of the mission, before you get to the sewers, there is an out-of-bounds glitch you can do, which also skips the entire sewer section. So if you're doing a speedrun, hey guys, don't say I didn't do anything for you. But there's a out-of-bounds glitch where you can go just clip out the game, and the background isn't just the white void, it's a picture of a park, maybe? And it's just there. It's a really high quality picture, but yeah, it just wraps around the entire out of bounds place, and you just do what you can to get there. One question I have for Capcom is, why would they have a picture of a park in the middle of the sewers? And a question more relevant to our video is, where is it? It's right behind me. This is Kensington Palace in Kensington Gardens of London. I don't know why this is the picture under there, but this is the official residence of the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge in London, and of Gloucester, Kent, and Prince and Princess Michael of Kent. Again, I don't know why there's a picture of this under the sewers, but yeah, maybe we're just living under sewers, and above us, maybe Neros is doing some side-ish combos. And after the Artemis fight and freeing Lady,
Can't believe you do this to Kyrie. I'm gonna have to tell her, man.
the two decide to split off again with our first V mission.
So it is written.
Through the mission, V has to just head through Redgrave, as is the main thing with most of this part of the game. And one significant thing, there's a shot that looks very reminiscent of a London skyline, but more importantly, later on, V approaches a place called the Borough Market. Behind me is one of the many entrances to the Borough Market, a place in London that's famous for its many different foods sold here and its quality of food as well. Devil May Cry 5, this is reflected in Mission 4. We can see V go into a place called the Borough Market, which is just the same pronunciation, just a different spelling. And even the sign, which is next to me, which I'll give you a better shot of, is reflected in Devil May Cry 5 with the graffiti there. Except, unlike in Devil May Cry 5, the Borough Market is full of shops and people and just a whole very nice attitude. Meanwhile, in Devil May Cry 5, it's got the Nidhogg roots. After fighting the Nidhogg, which is another subsidiary of the Clyfoth, V recites some more William Blake as he usually does. V reading William Blake is actually significant to our video as well, as William Blake was an English poet from the 1700s to the 1800s. He wasn't the most recognised in his life, but nowadays his work and what he does is recognised a lot in England, even to the point that his poems are studied a lot in British education. I would know because I had to do it. And Blake is held in a very high regard in Britain, so V reading his poems is also relevant to the video. But after defeating Nidhogg, V decides to continue his quest. Mission 5 involves V getting stuck in a warehouse and having to get out to get back up to Redgrave City. Now, I mentioned this while I did say earlier, oh, we can't just talk about London sewers, but this is actually a point that's brought up by Matt Walker himself. He goes to a warehouse in order to see what English warehouses are like and based it for this specific mission. Though you can see it more in Mission 6, because Mission 6 and Mission 5 take place at the same time, it's quite interesting the fact that they went through all of this just to go to a English warehouse just for their game. Really shows the amount of detail that's put into the game. But yeah, during the mission, the warehouse is attacked by the Gilgamesh, and Nero and V kind of semi-team up to stop it, by V taking out its legs for Nero to finish it. there's not really any specific landmark in London which covers this, because again, it's a warehouse and that's kind of difficult. You know, there's not any specific warehouse. It was just warehouses in London, which there are probably a ton of. But if it's anything, the boat that some of the crates are on, because obviously London is on the River Thames, you see a lot of boats all around. Some model, some out of commission, which stand as landmarks, such as the Cutty Sark, or even the HMS Belfast, which is still afloat, but not used as much, if at all. More a museum than anything else. Nero and V succeed in their respective missions, and the next mission is our final one in a specific area.
Yeah, we know. We're just waiting on you.
Mission 7 is unique because Mission 7 is a split mission. You can either go as Nero or as V. Now, Mission 7 is really special. It's probably my favourite in terms of its design, mostly because of what it's based off. Mission 7 involved Nero and V going into a train station and fighting their way through it in order to get right next to the entrance of the Clyforth. Now, this is interesting because London is absolutely full of train stations. Trains are usually how you get around London. There's a ton of train lines all around, with many different trains that can get you to wherever you need to go in London specifically. The train station we go into in Devil May Cry 5 has actual lines and even mentions eastbound and westbound, as do the train stations in London. From what we can tell from the colour of the lines, these are the Hammersmith and City / Circle line, the District line, and the Central line, known in Devil May Cry 5 as the Central Avenue and City and Circle lines, the Gainsmouth line, and the Red City line respectively. The trains that are shown broken down are also very reminiscent to what the District line, Circle line, and Hammersmith and City lines look like. It's really interesting to just see the lengths you can go, and when you go into the trains at a later point in the mission, you can even see the architecture, well, not architecture, the design is very reminiscent to the trains in London. Even the design of the stations itself, the way the bricks are laid out and the paint in general, looks like a actual train station in London, and it was really nice to see as someone who's been to a lot of train stations. And the final mob fight before you leave, it takes place in an area with a really big roof, and it led me to wonder which train station could this be inspired of directly, because there could be a lot of them. Places like King's Cross, Paddington, London Tower Bridge, keep getting that wrong, could be the inspiration for this specific area. And even the Metro symbol, which is what it's called in Devil May Cry 5, is just basically the underground sign, to the point where even on the underground it has these certain signs that look very similar to their representation in Devil May Cry 5. And then to go even further beyond, when you leave the station, you go through the oyster turntables, but the way it leads you just walking out up onto Redgrave City, very reminiscent to how trains in London do it as well. Just even the feel of it, you come out onto a busy street as you do in London. There's no big entrance sometimes, it's just a stairway down into the station and you're there. And after a fight with the Angelos and V being surprisingly angry, that marks the end of Mission 7. And that marks the end of our little adventure through London. As you can see, Devil May Cry 5 just has so much care and attention put into it, to the point where it's really insane, and you can tell that this was really passionate, and it's good to see their results turn out, as at the time of making this video, DMC5 has just sold 5 million copies, which is amazing, and hopefully it spells a new age for Devil May Cry in general. The scenery in these games have always looked nice, but the fact that Redgrave City looks so good and is so intricately done and inspired by places I have been to, it really elevated that experience of Devil May Cry 5 for me. I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and I hope you learned something new. And if you want more videos like this, please let me know, because I'm really enjoyed making this, and I really hope you guys enjoyed watching it as much as I did making it.